Hey everybody, welcome to the D. Louise book series. I'm Christina Kristina, and this is going to be a little shorter than normal. I I believe this is book 19 in the J.P. Beaumont series, and it's the second one. Sorry, this is one little hair. It's the second book that he does with Joanna Brady series. And um I don't I'm a JP Beaumont fan. I think for this book and for Desert, you have to be a Joanna Brady fan because it's in both books, JP Beaumont is making a guest appearance. It's not his book. Neither book are his books. Yeah, they're included in his series, but it's more of a Joanna book, if you get my meaning. It's like well, first let me back up here. This is the D. Louise book series. I'm Christina Kristina. This is where we read books and talk about books. I'm a series person. I like to do series. I like to follow character progression from book to book to book to book. That's why I do Star Trek Fridays. We get an episode, solved or finished each show. But we do have character progression as the series goes on. I like to binge read. We've done all of Laura. We've done all of Janet. We're doing J.D. Robb. We're gonna do Patterson. I got me something else today. I'll have to show it to you later. But we are doing. I don't know. See, I hate the fact that I couldn't get this in a physical book. It bothers the life out of me. So let me see if I can get this to stand up straight. There we go. There you can see it. Fire and Ice, J.A. Jance. And it's a Beaumont and Brady novel. It's a Brady novel with a JP making a guest appearance here and there. It's more, and there's a lot. If you're a Joanna Brady fan, you need to read this book because there's a lot of catch up in it. Character catch up, character progression, character advancement, character information. There's a wedding, there's a whole 9 yards. And so I got my little spiel. You like my little spiel? I have, while I've seen another author tell a book, there's been several books this past year that I read where Stephen Barry's books. Each chapter is by a different point of view. Character A, character B, character A, character B, but it's consistent throughout the book. With J.A. Jance, it's every other paragraph. It's like this little section is Joanna, and then this little section is JP, and this little section, and it's so. I was trying to take my notes, and I took a lot of notes. But it's hard to tell a story when the bouncing keeps going back and forth, the back and forth, the back and forth, and you don't know how they're related yet. I'll get to that in a minute. Because there, so I did this. Okay. And it is. We are still. We are over 10 chapters in, and JP and Joanna have not connected. And sometimes I wish the characters would have a whole chapter instead of a paragraph of his and her and his and her. That was my thoughts, overall thoughts. So, and I'm trying to. So there's been. We start the book, and I'm not sure, and because I tried to do a search, and I don't believe, and you can correct me on this, I don't believe the Atwood murder was ever actually solved. I mean, I have to go back and reread, but the benefit of this was that I could do a search and it didn't. All it said is we had a resolution to XYZ, but I didn't see or read about the resolution, so I'm still not sure. I'm open-ended on that part. But we start the book off with JP, and like I said again, I think you need to be a Joanna Brady fan because there's more of her in this. There's more of her character progression, advancement, and you need to read this one because if you're a Joanna Brady fan, you're going to miss out a whole bunch of information on the characters between the two books that are on opposite ends of this. So we start off with JP and Mel in Disneyland, and it's just that you can read that. So JP and Mel are in Disneyland on a little holiday, and they got the grandkid and all that kind of stuff. But then his boss, Ross Connors, calls JP and says that they want him to go to witness an autopsy on this lady. And so he has to go. Apparently, there have been 6 Hispanic women remains found at various dump sites, but they've all got the same. The tarp is missing the tag. They've all been burned. They've all identifying stuff has been removed. They've been burned. Blah blah blah. So that's your core story. But there's also a bunch of sub-stories in this, too. And, where'd she go? Oh, she's over there. There you go. You can watch her butt. Oh, now she comes over here. See? We get around. This is an older shirt. Sorry. So, where was I? So I don't like it. I wanted to go back and get the characters, but I'm like, I'm not too much. You really need to be a Joanna fan for this. So you can go. I was gonna make a catalog of characters because I usually do that when I follow a series, but I'm not following the Joanna series. This is all like screwed. So in the beginning of the book, and we never find out. There's quite a bit of loose ends, and they may be tied up in the next book. But I'm not a Joanna fan, and I'm going straight to the next JP. This one I have a physical book. But right now we're doing Fire and Ice. If I can get that, there you go. So I don't even know if I should talk about this because they're dealing with a murder that I don't think we get a resolution to, so I'm not sure if I should. But and I'm worried about the dog too. All right, let me back up here. All right, so Joanna's got a busy stuff going on. She's got a whirlwind of stuff. She's so wrapped up. She's got political stuff going on and all this other stuff, and she's like being pulled in 50 different directions. Then they get this call that this guy has been run over by ATVs. And they want to come out and investigate, and then he had a dog that stood by his master as he died. And we never really find out what happens with the dog. I know, I'd like to know what happens with the dog. But I'm not really going to go into it too much because it's not connected to, I don't know how it's connected to the rest of the story. I mean, I'd have to go, because normally I would go through the book page by page by page, but because I could do the search engine, it's just left like that on set, and I don't know. So anyways, and it's not really part of the bigger package here. So I'm not sure what that was about. I'm not sure what that was about. I got all these notes, and I always say that if you read a book and you put it down and you can remember what it was about, it was a good book, and if you put it down and can't remember So they got this whole other section going on with the guy that was killed by the ATV. Then we start the second section about a guy that drives a tractor trailer, I think, or he stopped on the side of the road and he found a body. So apparently they found this woman and she fits all the criteria of the other women, the Hispanic woman, but this time this woman was left with her. She didn't burn enough to lose. She still had skin and clothes, and they didn't take the teeth out, so she still has the DNA profile. So they have all this extra stuff with this one body, and they go back to that. See, they keep going back to the Atwood thing, and it's just I couldn't follow it too much. But the other case with the lady, it turns out she's in her early. She's about 29. She had the fragments, she had the clothings, and it's been given to Lucinda Caldwell to investigate. And Joanna's busy with the Atwood thing, and JP's gets in touch with the Caldwell lady, and at first she gives him a hard time about the case, and then see, I'm not explaining this very well because it was just the back and forth threw me a lot, but he goes to check in with JP, connects with Lucinda Caldwell because his boss told him that he called him and he wanted him to go witness the autopsy of this woman because she may be part of the 6 women that were killed and burnt, that kind of stuff, what I was saying. And Lucinda Caldwell is the local sheriff that's got the case, the local homicide detective. And she's partners with a guy who believes that all women belong in the kitchen barefoot and pregnant. So this Lucy Caldwell uses JP to her advantage, and she works it up, and she gets by using JP to her advantage, she gets some stuff done that she wanted to be done, but the guy didn't want to do it because she was just a lowly female. And what does she know? But the fact that Lucy had JP ask instead, then it was okay. Then it was something they could get done. So he uses that. So he gets the notes from her, and Joanna and Butch take a thing for their anniversary. Like I said, this is more. Come here. I know, it's torture. It's sheer torture. Mommy's holding me on camera. Oh my God, she's cutting my limbs off. She's cutting my bones. She's cutting my toes. Are you done? Ready? 1, 2, 3. See, that's the reason why I gotta get another cat is because my emotional support cat has gone. And he was you can hold me as long as you want. You can hold me forever. You can do whatever you want to me forever. I will stay with you. This is it's got to be on my terms, cat. Absolutely has to be on my terms. Come here. What's in your little bucket here? Let's see. Now we have a couple of different kinds of cats in this house. We have the Bali cat, and we have the mousy cat. The gray one is the mousy cat. And her little sister is the Bali cat. Now, Miss Smokey over here must take after her father because she's big boned. She's a tomcat size. Whereas her sister is a little dainty. And you don't realize how big her sister is until her sister spreads out. Because her sister looks like she's a kitten. But when she sits down and her butt spreads, then you realize, oh, you want this mousy. This mousie's better. Well, do what you want. So, anyways, shall we get back to the story? I know. I could use a few subscribers out there. I know. This lady, MJ, told me to pretend that you're all sitting out here in my audience. Don't forget, I did a video, a tour of my bookcase the other day. Please check it out. And all the Janet videos. We are moving on, though. You might have been bored by Janet every single day, but I hope we will be getting into some other authors. But we still got to do J.D. Robb to finish up before Ransom comes out. So then Mel starts in with Mel is JP's wife, and JP used to be a former homicide detective in Seattle, but now he's working for the Attorney General. I should bring that up. Joanna Brady is the sheriff over there in Arizona. Shishawani. I'm terrible with Joanna. But Mel discusses that there's a Marina Aguirre who died in '86 of a ruptured appendix. That means that the victim, the female victim they found now, had assumed her identity, had stolen her identity. Come over here. Put that back under there. Come over here. You gonna give me the cold shoulder now? Her fiance said that the reason why Marina didn't give him all this information was because she was escaping from an abusive boyfriend. And it is until many chapters later that we're told the guy was in prison and he had some enemies and she didn't want the enemies to find her. But that's how she ends up dead, because of the enemy. But you don't find that out till much later. And I'm sorry if that's a little bit of a spoiler there. So, like I said, Mel gives them the follow-up on the missing persons. Joanna and her husband do the anniversary. JP talks to Harry about the case. So then they find out from the boyfriend that Marina was living in a trailer home. They go check out the trailer home. They go check out the owner. And it finds that the owner is living in a Gone with the Wind mansion and has billions of dollars. Turns out she won one of the largest lotteries in history. And that's why she has the Gone with the Wind mansion. And her boyfriend turns out to be an ex-cop who JP knew way back in the day, and it turns out the both of them have AIDS. So they're just living together, nothing, they love each other, but they're not because of the AIDS situation. And then it isn't until they do some more investigating that they find out some more information, and they go back and talk to the ex-cop and go, hey, cough it up. You didn't give us this extra piece of information the day before. And so then there's another sub-story about a nursing home in here. So you'll have to read all about that. That's another sub-story, and it has some pieces in there. But after some investigation, this is the other story. I've already said that. After some time passes, it's discovered that the lady with the teeth, the autopsy that JP went to witness, Marina, what is the deceased lady. They find out her real name, and they find out about the husband in prison. And they also, one of Joanna Brady's deputies, Jamie, he's had custody of his nephew for a while now. And his nephew's been having some behavioral issues. And they discover the reason for the behavioral issues is the kid wrote his father in prison, and the prison didn't even open the letter, just wrote deceased across the please return to sender. And that's how the kid found out that his father was dead, but he never told anybody else that his father was deceased. So it wasn't until much later that Jamie learns the father's deceased. Now he learns the mother's deceased. So he's got all this information on the kid, and the kid gives him a few extra bits of information. And also in this time period, JP picks up with Al Lindstrom. Big Al Lindstrom was JP's first partner in the homicide department when we started this series way back when. So it's a little bit of a catch-up for him, but mostly this is a Joanna Brady book. Mostly it's a Joanna Brady book. So we do the Atwood thing, and the Sun thing, and the prison thing, and we have a hard time with the coroner and that whole other subplot. So I'm trying to follow the Marina thing. She worked at Denny's. That's how Mason met her. Mason is the boyfriend that filed the missing persons report on Marina, the lady that with the bones that was burned. So I'm sticking to that particular storyline. There's a whole bunch of sub storylines, and they're not really. It isn't until chapter 12, 13. That the stories even connect. It just takes my biggest problem was, first of all, it's more of a Joanna book, like I've stated, and JP's just like a guest appearance in the book, and you're not the stories don't connect until like chapter 12. Joanna and JP don't even have a connection or a knowledge of each other until chapter 12. And my pal here, there she is hamming it up. So it isn't until the end of chapter 12 that we get. And I would like to, if I could figure out how to do it, because every time I try and do it, it doesn't work for me. But, so, this is a big chapter. Come on. So it's the end of chapter 12. And because I can't really explain this myself, of course I remember she said, "How nice to hear from you again." That was an outright lie. Hearing from him again was anything but nice, with Butch back in the kitchen cleaning up after the party, and with a house full of company. This was not a good time to be reminded of things past. It wasn't that Joanna had been unfaithful to her husband, it was just that she might have been. "How are you doing?" she asked. "How did you get my number?" It seemed unlikely to her that Beaumont would have kept her old phone number or had access to her new one. "I called your office and spoke to your chief deputy," Beaumont told her. Mr. Haldack, I believe. When I told him why I was calling, he said I should probably speak directly to you." Joanna's heart gave a little squeeze, a premonition that something was seriously out of whack. Everyone in the department, including Tom Haldack, knew that handing out her unlisted number to anyone was a big no-no. This had to be important. "Why? Is there something wrong?" "Actually, there is. I'm calling about one of your cases, a missing persons cases from last year. A young woman named Marcella Marina Andrade." "Jamie's sister," Joanna thought at once. "Marcella, have you found her?" "Yes, I'm afraid we have." Right at that moment, Joanne was unable to recall the moment of Beau's agency, but she understood that he worked homicide, and the tone of his voice told her that she didn't want to hear Marcella's story wouldn't have a happy ending. "She's dead then?" Joanna asked. "Yes," Beaumont responded. "I'm afraid so. It turns out that she's been for several months. The partial remains of an unidentified homicide victim were found near a town near North Bend, Washington last week. It took until today for the ME over in Kittis County to get around to entering the victim's dental x-rays into a national missing persons database. Notification of the hit came back to her office late this evening. When the local homicide did call to tell me about it, I felt I should make the call." During the course of the evening, Jamie had gradually loosened up. For the first time in months, Joanna had actually heard him laugh. The previous summer, Jamie's life had been slammed with two separate disasters. First had come the line-of-duty death of his young protege, Deputy Dan Sloan. About the same time, Jamie's sister Marcella had abandoned her son and disappeared. Since then, Jamie walked around with a black cloud. Joanna wished she could preserve the precious moment of lighthearted banter, but she couldn't. It would be gone the moment Jamie heard the bad news. Her next of kin is listed as her brother, Beaumont continued, a man named Jamie Carbajal. I think we met when I was there in Bisbee. As he spoke, Joanna could find no discernible subtext in Joe's Friday, just the fax man delivery. Maybe she was the only one who actually remembered that moment. Yes, Joanna replied, that's correct. Jamie is one of my homicide detectives. In view of that, I was hoping I could ask you to let the family know. Of course, she said, absolutely. You don't have to ask. I'll handle that right away. The information I also have makes mention of the victim having a son, Beau continued. Is there a chance he could provide us with any information about his mother? Joanna suspected that might be true. It seemed that Lewis had known more about his mother's style and her unsavory friends and associates than he had ever admitted to anyone, including his uncle or his cousin. Joanna also understood that homicide investigators do. They backtrack until the victim's circle of family and friends, trying to find clues about what happened and why. But Joanna's first instinct was to protect Louis Armstrong from everyone, including J.P. Beaumont. And he might be able to help you, Joanna conceded, but not right now. First he learns his father is dead and now his mother. Wait a minute, Beau said. You're saying his father is dead too? What happened to him? Lewis's father, Marco Andre, was a small-time drug dealer. Detective Carball learned this morning that Andre was murdered in prison several months ago. I'll need the details on that as well, Beau said. The two cases could be related. And they are. They are very much related. And those are the cases that glue the book together. And it isn't, we go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And like I said, I think it would have been more conducive if each character had a chapter, or if they were working together, in the same location. I think I might have been better with that as partners, working back and forth, tick and tack, like Peabody and Eve. But because they were like here and here, in two separate locations, and they never actually meshed, it isn't until chapter 17 that the whole story comes together. So you really have to read it for yourself. And like I said, I'm looking more forward to having a physical book. So this is the next one. Let me see if I can bring this back. I'm not too much of a Kindle person. Oh, wait a minute, I had it. Come on, come back. Please come back. Come on. I don't know how to do this. Come on. Come on. Be good. I don't know how to do this. Come on. Do this for me. How do I do this? Do you know how to do this? I don't know how to do this. Do you know how to do this? I hope you all had a good New Year's as I help me. If I can figure out how to, come on. I know it works sometimes. There we go. Yay. There we go. Fired ice. Oh, this is a horrible. There we go. Horrible lighting. But I hope you will join me reading in the next book. I hope you enjoyed my review, however sporadic it was, because the book was just, it was like a paragraph here, him and her, and him and her, and him and her. And I mean, it's an interesting story, but I kind of got lost in a couple of the, character things. But like I said, I am looking forward to the next one, Betrayal. So I'll be doing that. Look for that in a couple of days. I think I'm going to do a J.D. Robb or Donna Andrews. I might sneak that in. I was hoping to do the whole series, string it through, binge it through. But the brand new one just came out the other day, and I'm anxious to read it. So we'll see what happens. So I hope you all have a good day. And please like and subscribe the channel. Most appreciative. Thank you.